With the first pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select, fill in the blank. I don't know who they're going to pick. Maybe they find their quarterback, but that's it, folks. At 0-5, the Carolina Panthers are the worst team in football. This is not speculation. They are the only team to not record a win through 5 weeks of the NFL season. And did I expect them to win today? No. Coming into this, my expectations kind of are what played out. A blowout with the garbage touchdown. And if you recall, I said 37-28, 37-28, late touchdown. Makes it look closer than it is. This, you can't even say we made this look closer. 42-24. In the first half, it was a complete blowout. I'm sitting there in public. My wife and I and family and mother-in-law, sons, we were all out. We went to the Wilmington River Fest, having a great time. And then we're like, hey, let's go get something to eat. We went to a place that had the Panthers on. I'm, wearing a Panthers shirt. Not a jersey, but a Panthers shirt. There's tons of NFL fans all around me. I think you even see some Detroit fans. You walk in there and it just feels like shame. Pure shame wearing Panthers gear at this point in my life. Why am I even watching the games? I'm going to say if you are watching the games, I'm going to give you a hall pass. Like if you want to check out for the rest of the season and go spend time with your family, watch other teams, do something else, even pick a different NFL team to root for, I'm here to let you do that. You've got my pass as Carolina Panthers fan because I don't know what product is being put on the field. I don't know. And every week it happens. We find new ways to lose. The discipline is not there. And that starts at the head with Coach Reich. And if you listened to his presser, it was piss poor, man. And I'm not expecting him to come out here and save the world and to give us this motivational message and speech to the team and to the fans and to everyone that the Panthers are going to be okay. But I am expecting something a little bit more. He was lost. If you go back and listen, I don't know where, the question came from. It had something to do with just, where do you go from here? And he says, I don't know. It's almost like an I don't know response that he hopes that things will eventually come together, whether that's today, tomorrow, next week, next year, next season, in 2 seasons. But that's not the case. That's not where we are today in the NFL and the expectations that were set coming into this season. Let me take a quick second to say, since I kind of started this off very hot, prayers up to Chandler Zavala. Really good updates coming through that he's in recovery and step up, I should say, at the hospital there, that has all movement in his extremities, if I can get that out right. So prayers up to him. That was a very scary situation. I didn't actually see the play. I turned away when we were at the restaurant, so I missed it. And then I saw the cart coming out, found out who it was. And so just, that is a tough situation to be in. And even during that adversity for the team, we responded and did well. And I think ended up scoring, and it's, kind of a closer game, 14-7. And it feels like, okay, maybe something's going to happen. But then we get into this and we continue to see a terrible rush defense. We don't even have a rush defense. I don't know what the final box score was. Okay, yeah, 159 rushing yards for the Detroit Lions. We rushed the ball for 99 yards on our side. Considering that the Detroit Lions only give up, 60 a game, that's a bit of a win. But when you talk about who was running the ball and the success that we had, I can tell you who is not it, and it's Miles Sanders. And this front office overpaid for Miles. They overpaid for him, and there's a reason that the Philadelphia Eagles gave him up and did not want him over here. There is a clear reason now, and now I see it. The fumble, the dude keeps fumbling the ball. Bryce Young's, interceptions that he had 2. The one to Ian Thomas on the screenplay, that was a really great play by the Detroit Lions, but you've got to throw that in the dirt. If the ball isn't there, if the play isn't there just throw it at his feet. Don't try to make the play. I don't know if it's the coaching that's coming into Bryce that he has to hit this play and make the attempt, or I don't know, he's going to get in trouble. Frank Reich's going to get mad. I can't tell you, but teach him to just throw it in the dirt, live for another play. The other interception that he had, we saw him trying to force the ball. And yes, people, there are a lot of positives through his game. He is, even through the 0-5 start, he is making a lot of progression in his game. But we're just not a great football team. We're not a great football team. We will not win a game. I don't know. I was going to try to put a timetable around it. We may win a game. I was going to say we won't win a game through the bye, but heck, the bye's in a week. So, yeah, we're not winning against the Miami Dolphins. So, hey, Miami Dolphin fans, if you're tuning in and you're worried about the Carolina Panthers coming down to Miami and upsetting you, go ahead and check out, let you know that you are good to go. Detroit fans, if you are on here and maybe you're just relishing in, the victory on your side, congratulations. I will say we had a lot of Detroit Lions fans, and I think it has to do with just their on-the-field success. I had a lot of Lions fans reaching out to me this week, and it was great. It was good interaction. I've always loved positive interaction from other fan bases. Some of the fans were like, "Hey, man, are you sure that the Panthers aren't going to come in here and run us over?" I was like, yeah, dude. Y'all are going to be A-OK. You don't have to worry about our team with Miles Sanders and or Chuba Hubbard coming out there. My question is, what are we going to do with Miles? What are we going to do with the entire season? Because no 0-5 team has ever made the playoffs. So at this point, whether or not we want to say rebuild, retool, playing for next year, playing for momentum, I don't know how you headline this or label this next part of the season, but it's done. The season itself is over. I don't care how many times Reich, or not that it's been many, but he started 1-5. This other team started 1-6. I don't, because we're done. The playoffs are far from reach. Our division continues to take off. New Orleans winning, Atlanta Falcons winning. The Buccaneers had a bye. Kiss that goodbye. I said this earlier in the week, tweeting it out. Again, if you follow me, thanks. If there ever was a school where you could go to study to be an NFL GM, I hope that they analyze the Carolina Panthers front office over the last 2 or 3 seasons. We are a freaking train wreck with Christian McCaffrey going off, with DJ Moore going off the other night. And I know some of these acquisitions and trades happened so that we could get to where we are, to get Bryce. I don't care, man. You can't sum this up, because now we are the worst team in the NFL. And as the worst team in the NFL, you have the spot, or the coveted spot, to pick number 1 overall. And in this situation, number 1 overall, whether, coming into next year, would be a quarterback. I know we have our quarterback, but it's like, if we'd been in that situation, we could have traded that, moved off of, the pick, got more draft capital and some more talent. Now we're sitting here with the first overall pick in the second round. What is 33rd best player in the draft? It's terrible. It's terrible. I think you do have to blow this up. You do. There's no way around it. No, you don't need to go get a receiver. You do not need to get any weapons for Bryce Young for the rest of the season. Let that ride. Let it go. Figure out how to get draft capital, or clear out some of the crap that's in here. Go full rebuild, because that's what it is. The only player on this team, and there may be a few other guys, but one of the key players on this team that delivers every week, that y'all have hated on a little bit, not everybody, but some, is Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen, another 100-yard game for him. What else can you say about that? Like, he continues to show up. He is way overperforming his ability at 33 years old. And I'm not, knocking him. I'm not knocking him at all, but he's doing well above what he should be doing, and nobody else is stepping up to the plate. We saw bits and pieces of Laviska Shenault coming in today, which I really liked. I don't know what more this team needs to see from Chuba Hubbard. And I know Chuba didn't have the greatest game, but what do you think you are getting out of Miles Sanders that you are not getting out of Chuba Hubbard? If you are the coach of this team and you see that, tell me. Just tell me, please, because I don't see it. the question goes back to, is Frank Reich the right person for this job? There are people that want to say he's on the hot seat already, that he should be fired after 1 year. Although I do not believe he's going to get fired. I don't think he'll get fired after 1 year. I am leaning into the fans that are saying he should. Because, dude, he just doesn't have it, man. And I don't know what more you need to see when he failed in Indianapolis. I don't want to hear any blaming because he is the one who helped finagle and get the quarterbacks that he got in there. And they weren't able to win. I mean, I know they had some ups and downs, but consistently, he is still living off of a Super Bowl run as an offensive coordinator with Carson Wentz, and Carson Wentz in an offense that really was kind of Doug Peterson's offense. If we're being true and honest, he had Wentz for 2 years and then was gone. So it's not like he is a true quarterback guru that has developed player after player after player. You can go back. Yes, he's coached different players along the way through his journey. But if you think about taking a rookie quarterback and developing him and making him into whatever he is, prove it. Like, go on there and show me. Show me exactly where he's done that. It's Tepper, man. David Tepper has ruined this football team. This entire franchise is run into the ground. If you followed me in the offseason, you know my harps and pains around the failed project in South Carolina for what was going to be, truly two states, one team, and having a football facility headquarters there that's fallen apart and it's gone by the wayside. Our contract with Bank of America Stadium and City of Charlotte is still up. We have not renewed. Do I think that, Tepper's going to take and relocate this second? No. But what is the plan? What is the path here? Because you were the owner of this team and people wanted to hype him up when he bought it, this billionaire owner that was a part of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, he's going to be great. He's going to be great for the game. No, he's not, man. He's so bad. One of the worst owners in the NFL. Just give it up. Like, I don't know what you can do as an owner. If you can hire someone else to manage the business, like you just sit there, just hire someone else to make these decisions for you, running the actual football side of it and making decisions around hiring, because it's not working out with you, with the track record of Matt Rule and now Frank Reich, who looks like a complete bust. I don't know. And you got all these other veteran guys, assistants, the Dom Capers that's over here, and like, what are we really doing? Are we just turning into their early retirement or an extra little bit of retirement money but before they retire? Because that's what it feels like, man. That's exactly what it feels like. It's tough. This is much more of a rapid reaction than I normally have because I normally wait a day, let it digest, then I record. But I was like, man, I can't do that this week. It's not possible. I am going to still do the film study. I'm going to, try to pick maybe a drive or two, look at offense, look at defense, because there were, if you want to say it, positives, but I don't really think there were that many positives. It's tough. Like, I truly don't know where we go from here. I don't know. And I don't know what to tell fans who sit here and listen. I can just say, hey, I'm sorry for disappointing. That's the one thing I'll start with. One thing I did do this week was I asked for some reactions. I said, hey, Panthers Nation, and if you follow me on Twitter, go out there. You won't get on this episode, but always feel free to reach out and I'll give you your mentions. I said, Panthers Nation, drop your thoughts on the game or the season, and I'll feature it on the show. So we're going to start with Carolina Cast. So it's Carolina Cast _15. He said, Panthers get Bryce Young. The Bears, this is a really good analogy. So we get Bryce Young. That was what we got out of this trade. The Bears are going to end up getting, likely, Caleb Williams. We know they got DJ Moore, Jalen Carter, which is who we could have gotten if we had stayed where we were, Britton Strange, and a player to be named later. He said, that's my thoughts on the season. As for the game, yeah, we got rocked, but at least our offensive coordinator is now our offensive coordinator. Although that truly hasn't been confirmed. So if there was speculation going on during the game between fans that there was this point in the game where Reich walks over to Brown and people are like, oh, is he giving up the play calling? After the game, we did get confirmation, at least verbally from Reich, that the play calling was still on him. So Frank Reich is still calling the plays. And to be honest, outside of that stupid screen, I don't really have a bone to pick with him because you have 3 turnovers, you're not going to win many games. And if you don't first force turnovers, there's not a lot you can do. I think he had one follow-up comment. Let me make sure I get this. And he said, yes, Brenton Strange ended up going to Jacksonville. Okay, so yeah, really if for those who are not following along, if you're just now like, hey, coming out of the cave or picking up on the Panthers, we traded away a lot of draft capital for Bryce Young. And the thing that's been going around on Twitter this week, and it's very hypothetical, but if the Panthers had decided to stay put at number 9, not trade this away, would we be in the same position? Like, we would probably still be 0-4 considering the staff that we have. We would still be 0-4. We'd still have DJ Moore. We could have gotten Jalen Carter on the defensive side of the ball. You help shore up the defense. Next year, we end up getting Caleb Williams or another quarterback prospect, if that's Drake May, if we continue down this path. And so it's like, is or was Bryce Young really worth these 3 or 4 players, potentially top-tier players that we did not get? I love the thought process on that. I love fans bringing that up because it is a very valid point. I kind of thought about it a little bit differently, and I was like, so the other question was like, would you be okay if Matt Corral or Sam Darnold was your starting quarterback, like heading into the season, if things had remained? And I said, I kind of like that question, but I'd like to take it back a notch and say, how would I feel about that and Steve Wilks coaching the team? Because Steve Wilks took a 7-10 football team is not a good football team. Don't get me wrong. A 7-10 football team is not a good football team. But they were a terrible football team with Matt Rule. They're an even worse team, at least today, record-wise, with Frank Reich. Steve Wilks took what was a garbage team and turned them into a 500 team. We can't even get Frank Reich to win a football game. It all goes back to coaching. If you cannot coach, if you can't get the guys motivated, if your scheme or plan is not working, we got issues. Next, we have Luvu is the name. It's Kodiak 084444647. No, he's not a bot. It's a real person. He said the offense is progressing. The defense is regressing. We'll be good down the stretch. Hopefully, as long as JC Woods and Corbett come back and stay healthy. Those are key pieces. Yes, we're missing those. We know Shaq's likely not going to make it back. But JC Horn, Xavier Woods, Austin Corbett coming back could and should make a difference to this team. So I agree with that. I do think the offense has made some progress. Defense is just bad. We're a bad football team. It's like week to week. One's going to look a little bit better than the other. And lastly, we have Jordan Fell. Panthers are 0-4. Sorry, this thing's 0-4. Jordan Fell 1. So we had a much better balance today in the second half. Not surprising that it was because Chuba and Chenault played running back and got positive yards. If Saunders can't consistently get positive yards, nothing will ever open up for Bryce. And that's true, man. That is very true. I don't know how you solve this thing. I feel like I could repeat my podcast every week for the rest of the season and things would be okay. I feel like I don't even need to watch the games to know how these things are going to play out. That's the state of the team, the state of the franchise. There's just not a lot of positive that you can take away. The only thing that you can hope for is the progression of Bryce Young developing. I mean, he had more passing yards than Jared Goff today, but that doesn't mean a lot when you throw the 2 interceptions. He did have 3 touchdowns. Was only sacked 1 time. That was the other thing. Like, he only was sacked once. He had time to throw the ball. We talked about the Lions really like to rely on getting pressure with, that 4-man rush, which they did most of the time. We did see Andy Dalton for 1 play come in, do the quarterback sneak. So I guess still trying to use that model, kind of the Taysom Hill, I'll call it. And Adam Thielen, man, I just give props to him. Adam Thielen showing out 11. I already talked about the yardage, but 11 receptions, 107 yards. Jonathan Mingo showed a little bit of sign of life. 5 receptions for 48 yards. Talked about the 2 interceptions, the fumble. The effort, man. The effort's just not there on the defensive side of the ball. There are multiple plays that I'm sitting here just watching. And I don't know if I'll make it to it when I get into my film review. If I'll be able to actually show you. And sorry for those who are watching on the podcast, my screen cut off, so I thought the tape had stopped there for a second. But I don't know if I'll be able to make it to the plays that I'd like to make it to review. But there were some whiffs that's just like not great effort at all, man. Yeah, I don't have much. I don't have anything else to go, man. Eddie Pinheiro, reliable. He was 1 for 1. Connected on the 1 field goal. And yeah, I don't have anything else to share, man. Here we go, folks. We move on, and thankfully, after this next week, we have a week off. You get a week off with no Panthers football, so you don't have to worry about the misery. Miami Dolphins team that, just like the Detroit Lions, are a very good football team. Detroit Lions, as we close this out. So if I do have any Detroit Lions fans still listening, number one, thank you for enduring maybe the victory lap for your team. Just wanted to say y'all got a dang good football team at 4-1. As a fan of the NFL and NFL football, what your team has done and put together out there, it's great. It's great for the game. It's great to see different teams having that success. So good luck to y'all the rest of the way. I still, firmly believe that y'all are an NFC championship, a team that compete for an NFC championship, potentially more. I mean that, in full sincerity. I know a lot of Detroit fans were on YouTube this week. Lastly, plug in YouTube again. Follow me on YouTube or listen and watch on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Again, you can watch this full stream right on Spotify or YouTube. I appreciate everyone that's subscribing on YouTube. You can also, of course, follow me on Instagram. Instagram is what I like to call the funny side of this Panthers thing that I do, because I can tell you it's not a fun thing to talk about. So for me, I like to find the funny things that are out there, the reels. I remix them with Panthers related content. So if you want to laugh to laugh about your Panthers, go out there and check that out, please. And I appreciate it. But anyways, that's all I got, folks. This is Carolina Dad. I hope y'all have a good one. See ya.